Okay, so I always get people asking how I film parts of different content and how I put it all together. So I thought today for this one, I would film a little bit of behind the scenes. And I can't guarantee this will be exciting or have anything like new or new information in it. But there's a lot that goes on up here when it comes to filming a next part of a skit. So, I know with this Ferris and Sloan skit, people are really interested in knowing kind of behind the scenes or what kind of goes on. So let me explain it a little bit. So first what I kind of do is refresh myself. And the little side note is I wanted to reply to this comment right here, because what I do is refresh myself in my notes and like go over like who was who, what the names of people were, and what kind of happened in the most recent skit or sometimes the last two. And here we go. I still mess up. It happens all the time. And why I've started using movie and like TV character names is because it helps me remember character names much better. But when it comes to the daughter, her name is also from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It's Christy. So she's not a huge character member, and she was only like a very small part in the skit. So I like kind of forgot. So it should be Christy, not Kelsey. So for this particular skit today, which is going to be number 9. So this is so far the longest running skit in both sections and the amount of time that I've ever done. I mean, these are each like 5-minute skits, which, believe it or not, take me anywhere from 45 minutes to I've had some take like 2 hours, like filming and putting it all together, especially when there's multiple characters. So what I've been doing is I watched part 7 and part 8 to kind of like refresh what happened in those last couple of parts. Because if you notice when you're watching it all the way through now, like I have a couple of side stories. It's different where I don't just have like a few main characters that I'm following. There's a couple of different side stories. And so I'm trying to decide now as I'm planning, okay, do I want to keep going with the Cam and Grace storyline? Do I want to go back to the mother? Or do I want to kind of combine them? So as I stand here in my studio, not my bathroom, I will kind of like maybe like update my makeup while I'm just thinking things through. And I'm like, okay, there's a lot of like internal dialogue going on. I don't know if this is normal for people, but this is what I do to kind of just plan. So I'm like, okay, how should I start this skit? What should I do to really pull people in the beginning? Because here's the thing too, like if someone has not seen a skit of mine before, I love something that pulls people in. So I talked not that long ago about what I did to kind of start growing my TikTok and stuff. And one thing I did was get really familiar with TikToks that made me excited to watch. And so one thing I constantly do is I like to start a skit by someone walking into the room, because seeing immediate movement excites people. They're like, oh, what's happening? Then starting off by saying something like that's going to pull people in, like something dramatic, or asking a question or a complaint is really exciting for people. So I'll stand here and I'll be like, okay, who do people want to see first? What kind of drama could I start this episode or this section about or with? Okay, so then I think, who do I want in this particular skit? So I for sure want Ferris. I want Sloan. I want Cameron, probably. And that means probably Grace. And then probably the mother-in-law. Because what I want to do as I'm thinking right out loud here, I think I want to combine both storylines in this one. I'm not sure how much of each person I'm going to use, but a little bit of each person. So now I'm going to go grab the props for each person. All right, so at this point, I'm still not 100% sure who all I'm going to include, but I got most of the cast here. So I've got Sloan. I've got possibly Jeannie. I've got, this is Ferris. This is Cameron. I also have Cameron's glasses right here. I have Grace's glasses right here, and I have mother-in-law's glasses right here. If you'll notice going back, which I did not realize until going back recently, I made a couple of changes that I did not mean to make. Hat changes. Sometimes this happens on accident because this is my husband's hat. Sometimes he wears different hats to work. And so I didn't have a hat, so I switched it up. And then I started off with a different headband for Jeannie. So we're just going to hope that people figure it out and they learn as they go. So then as a writer, I think what's going to be the big thing that happens in this part of the skit? So I'm thinking to myself, okay, so we've already had drama with the mother-in-law and Grace. The mother-in-law is kind of ongoing, but Grace is kind of this new character we're learning more about. So how did it end? So the last skit ended with her telling Cameron that he had to tell Ferris that he's not going to come. And if I start right away with that happening, people will be disappointed. So I feel like that needs to carry on. So I think we're going to move to the mother-in-law first and add a little bit more to her story. So if you guys are seeing this one first, go back and watch the skit, and then this will give you a little roundabout to my brain and how it thinks through all this stuff. And hopefully, I know I've been blabbing a lot, but hopefully this gives you a little back end to what goes on when I put together a skit. A lot of people will comment like, why are we waiting so long? And I know most of it is all in good fun, but sometimes people are like, it takes so long, like I need another skit right now. And you just have to understand, like, it takes a long time, not only thinking about it, but sometimes writing out a skit or a script and then filming it and then editing it and then making sure I put the right names up top and don't say the wrong name like I did earlier. So there's a lot to it, but people are always asking me about it. So I was like, I'm filming right now. I might as well film a little background, and whoever's interested can learn the craziness that goes on in here. So thanks for watching.